There's a certain site that I can only last about 5 seconds on.
I think I know which one you mean.
Before I absolutely blow my top. Pea prune.
There you go, folks.
Pea prune. There are so many experts on there that know it all and just spout rubbish, authoritatively rubbish. And I just can't even be bothered arguing with them. I just stay away from it. There was only one time, and there's actually a bit of a story to it. It actually leads into a flying story I could tell you.
Go on then.
But there was the 2000 and, let's call it 2008 Calcutta Cup. It might have been the 2007, it must be 2008 Calcutta Cup. So Scotland playing England at Murrayfield. Fly past. I'm leading it.
Nice.
What actually happened in the stadium was there was an almighty downpour just before kick-off. Now the ref, Jonathan Kaplan from South Africa, was told, do not kick off, don't blow the whistle until the Jets have gone over. Okay? Right. So there's this almighty downpour over Murrayfield, and as far as the crowd are concerned, the royal presentations happened, Princess Royal and all that sort of stuff, and the team's ready. And with Johnny Wilkinson standing there with the ball, bouncing in the pouring rain, looking at the ref, and the ref's going, no, the Jets haven't come over yet. So they waited and waited and waited, and they waited about 30 seconds in the pouring rain. And on the television, Brian Moore, apparently on the commentary, said, we shouldn't be waiting for this silly sideshow, we need to be getting on with the game. Jets go over, Kaplan blows the whistle, and the game goes on. But to everybody in the stadium, the Air Force are late. The Air Force are late, can't get there on time, bloody hell. Then those that knew it was, we're actually on, we're 43, we'll be on 56 then, we're on 56. It was the F3s, we're late. And there was all sorts of diatribe going on, pea prune, and that's when I went, right, okay, I'm going to have to go on and sort this, because there's just crap. And I said, there are a lot of people posting on here from a position of ignorance. This is what happened. The SRU wanted the Jets to be overhead at 19 minutes past and 30 seconds. The Princess Royal was taking a bit longer to do her walk round and meet the teams, and communications were fraught difficult, because what you had was somebody on the ground at Murrayfield phoning air traffic at Edinburgh who were in contact with us. And they made the decision, we need a minute delay because the Princess Royal's not in position. Okay, so to Edinburgh Airport tells me, can you just lose a minute? Okay, well, we can't just pull over. We developed a loop.
Yeah.
We gave them a minute's delay. We came over exactly 1 minute later, to the second. In fact, what they needed was about 30 seconds delay.
Right.
They asked for a minute, they got a minute. But particularly since it was pouring with rain, and everybody thought it was the Air Force was late. So I had to go on to Pea Prune and tell them, and they said, that's exactly what happened. I know because I led the formation. I hope this brings this thread to a close. Bang.
Absolutely not.
And it did. Well, it did actually. Nobody said anything after that.
Oh, wow, I thought someone had said
that. But that's Pea Prune. So if we go back to social media, and across, whether it's Facebook or stuff like that, it's when you get people who claim to be experts who obviously aren't. What I can tell you now is what was happening in this formation, because formations, you think fly pasts are dead easy. They're dead easy. I mean, you just stand again over the top, they go and what have you. I might have told some fly past stories before, I'm not sure if I've ever. Anyway, what it actually is like a swan going down the river. On the surface it's all nice and calm, but underneath it's and this was no exception.
Yeah.
We got out there in good order, and we actually were holding out near the Bass Rock, North Berwick, not far from East Fortune. So it's about a minute and a half run in, and when we got there in plenty of time, it was lovely weather, so we're just in the hold. That's it. And Phil Manav was giving me the countdown. He says, right, probably two more laps and then we'll be in. That's it. And we were just about to set off when we got this message from air traffic. Can you Rolex, that's the code word to put time back, Rolex 1 minute. Okay, so luckily there's only two of us, and Sam, the other pilot, is tucked in behind me, line of stern, and he just follows me. We basically just do a 90 right and point towards Fife for about 25 seconds, 5 seconds to turn around, another 25 seconds back, 5 seconds to turn in, there's your minute gone, we're back to where we were. Yeah. That's how you do it. And that worked. And we came round and Phil said, yep, we're now 1 minute behind where we should be. We're exactly on track, on time. Just keep it nice and steady. And then I look up ahead, expecting to see Portobello and the city, and I can see a black wall. And I went, oh, I don't believe it. Oh, come on, referee. Because there's this shower cloud right in the way. I went, oh, and he says, do you think you can make it? And I said, well, we'll do it. And we run in, and we go over Portobello Beach, and I can see Arthur's Seat to my left disappearing. It's nothing, and all I'm really praying for is to see the three spires of St Mary's Church, the west end of Edinburgh. Because if I've got that, then it's only about a mile beyond where Murrayfield is, and I'll be able to find it. I can almost read the streets. So we're going to see Princess Street disappearing, the castle in a smur to the left, and I'm like, oh, come on. And Phil's saying, we're on time, we're on track, we're on time, we're on track, we're at 1,000 feet. In we go. And then St Mary's came out and I saw the three spires. I thought, great, I've got St Mary's. And then I could see two horizontal white lines ahead. And I realised that was the floodlights of the stadium. Oh. And I went, we've got it. I went over the top. And then, of course, as we go over the top, plug the burners in for a bit of noise. Yeah. But Sam needs to hang on to me, so it couldn't be for too long because we get separated in the bad weather. Yeah. So we then said, cut. So we come back to dry power. Sam's still there. And then we're now basically in cloud this way. I can see the ground, but I can't see around. And I know that we can't turn because Castorphin Hill is now to my right, where the zoo is, but I can see houses. And I thought, well, we'll just keep going straight. We're talking to Edinburgh Air traffic anyway. And then I saw the bypass disappear underneath me. And I thought, right, we're now past all the high ground. I can now ease it right. And the moment we eased right, bing, out of cloud, blue skies, Edinburgh Airport, over the top, there's the bridges. Everything's fine. And air traffic were clearing us back to Lookers. And I looked back and it was just a mother of dark storm right over west. Oh, yeah. We were invited back to the game. But of course... the game's just kicked off.
So getting there. And the MT was waiting for us. To
cut long story short, we arrived at the stadium just about the final whistle. That's timing.
Right.
Now, Scotland did win the Calcutta Cup, but we're trooping across this muddy car park and jacket and tie and all the rest of it. And the boy that was hosting us met us at the stadium door and he said, oh, you're just in time, come this way, lads, that's fine. And we go through this corridor, through a double door. Oh, we're in the stadium. Oh, and that's the Royal Box in front of us. Wow. And the protection police are sort of going, who's this? And it's the Tornado Crews. Don't worry, it's the Tornado. Right, okay. So we're standing there, and there's a fur hat. There, just right there. And that's the Princess Royal. And Mike Blair comes up and gets the Calcutta Cup and all this shit. And we're chatting away to people. And there's obviously very important people around us. And then I was aware that Phil Manav was now talking to somebody in the room, and it was Des Brown, who at the time was Secretary of State for Scotland, but also Secretary of State for Defence. And he's having a good chat. He says, oh, it seemed a bit difficult, boys. Yeah, and how did you? Well, I thought you did really well. And he said, but do you know the best thing about that fly past? Everybody in the stadium thinks I organised it. And I thought, yeah, there's a politician for you. Right? Brilliant. Anyway, we had a bit of chat. And then they started to move off inside. And we obviously had to hang back while the Royal Box cleared. But I remember the Secretary of State turning round to us and saying, I'll see you inside for a drink, boys. I thought, no, Secretary of State for Defence does not say to a couple of flight attendants, I'll see you inside for a drink. But he did. Anyway, off he went. And we eventually come in at the back and all this. And there was a natural sort of hold up where they were hanging Hoots up. And there's Des Brown again. So he said, oh, come over here. Introduces us to this rather tall gentleman who turns out to be Tim Lawrence. Can't remember his rank, but enough to know he was called Sir. I know. Yeah. Trying to get conversation with him, and yes, well, very good. And then I'm aware of somebody standing just off my right shoulder, and I turn, and it's the Princess Royal.
Oh.
And I went, I've just crossed some muddy, I hope there's no mud in my shoes and all the rest of it.
In your flight suit?
No, this was jacket and tie now.
Okay.
Yeah, squadron tie, what have you. So the Princess Royal's there. I forget royal protocol completely and immediately stick my hand out. You're apparently supposed to wait for royals to present there. No. So she kind of looked at me and we shook hands and she said, oh yes. So you were flying the Tornadoes. Yeah. She said, what height were you when you went over the stadium? And I took a quick swallow and I said, well, ma'am, my minimum authorised height was 1,000 feet. And she looked at me and she said, yes, those Tornado aircraft are quite large, aren't they? And I went, I can't argue with that, ma'am. Can't argue with that. That is the closest to a royal bollocking that I ever wanted to get. But it was the most surreal 10 minutes of my life. You know, you start going across a muddy car park, listening to the crowd at the end of the match, and finishes with me having a conversation with the Princess Royal. Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
So did you just have the burners on just over there?
Just for noise, that's all.
Just for noise,
and actually, we weren't, you don't go that low, because the lower you go, the less time people have to see you. You know, if you can imagine, you're right up at height, the effect's lost, but you can see for longer. And given the fact that a lot of the stadium is covered, you know, people are going, So if you come over at 0.6, what was that?
Yeah.
You know, it's a waste. So actually coming in low over the stadium doesn't actually help.
Because I didn't think you were allowed to put burners on over like cities or anything like that. I don't know
for flight safety reasons, you know, to preserve, you know, to get your speed back if you need it, officer. Really, that's when you would be allowed to use burner. Otherwise, you're not supposed to. So I needed to put the burner in to get speed.
Of course, yeah.